The corridor did not expect history that morning, yet history arrived anyway, hand in hand, wrapped in soft footsteps and louder meaning. Before the applause, before the cameras steadied themselves, there was a breathless pause in the air at the University of Cincinnati. The kind of pause that happens when ordinary time senses it is about to be interrupted by something memorable. Two figures emerged, not storming the moment, not demanding attention, but gently claiming it, and in that quiet confidence, the story truly began. Taylor Swift stepped forward dressed in an elegance that whispered rather than shouted, a short black coat cut sharply against the winter air, over-the-knee boots grounding her stride, and a compact handbag resting casually at her side. She carried herself with the ease of someone who has walked through stadiums of screaming fans and still remembers how to walk through a hallway without spectacle. Beside her, Travis Kelce looked every inch the off-duty athlete, a green sweater softening his imposing frame, dark trousers falling loosely, a baseball cap pulled low as if to remind the world that today was not about touchdowns or trophies. Their hands were linked, fingers interlaced with the quiet assurance of two people comfortable sharing both space and purpose. Security followed, as did university staff, but the real movement came from the students themselves. Phones lifted instinctively, not out of obligation, but out of disbelief. The hallway seemed to hum, walls absorbing the collective excitement like a held note waiting to resolve. If you're enjoying how this story is unfolding already, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who appreciates moments that feel bigger than they look, and subscribe so you never miss stories where culture, humanity, and inspiration quietly collide. This was not a publicity stop dressed up as goodwill. According to organizers, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce had been invited as part of a student exchange initiative centered on personal development, pursuing passions, and building meaningful communities. In simpler terms, they were there to talk honestly about life. Not the polished highlights, but the untidy, uncertain, often uncomfortable road that leads to finding yourself. Fame had opened the door, but authenticity was what they brought through it. From early morning, the campus had been vibrating with anticipation. Students gathered in designated areas, their laughter edged with nerves, conversations punctuated by sudden gasps whenever someone thought they had spotted a glimpse. Welcome banners stretched across walkways, fluttering slightly, as if trying to lean closer to the moment. Volunteers moved calmly through the crowd, gently guiding people into place, maintaining order without dimming excitement. It felt less like an event and more like a shared secret that had somehow grown too big to keep quiet. When Taylor and Travis finally entered the main space, applause erupted, not in a chaotic roar, but in a wave, swelling and rolling through the room. Faces lit up, not just with admiration, but with curiosity. Many students later admitted they had come expecting glamour, yet stayed hoping for something far more valuable. They weren't there merely to see a global pop icon or an NFL powerhouse. They were there to hear how success actually feels when the lights go off and the doubts creep in. Taylor began by speaking not as a superstar, but as a songwriter who once sat on her bedroom floor, pen in hand, wondering if anyone would ever care about her words. She traced her journey from those quiet beginnings to stages that seemed almost mythical in scale, careful not to romanticize the climb. Each chapter, she explained, came with its own weight. Early rejection, public criticism, the pressure to constantly evolve while staying true to herself. Her voice softened as she spoke, yet it carried unmistakable strength. There were moments, she admitted, when self-doubt felt louder than the music. Moments when she questioned whether she was enough, whether her voice still mattered. Music, she said, had always been her anchor. Not fame, not charts, but the act of creation itself. Writing songs was where she met herself most honestly. The most important thing, she told the students, was not to abandon yourself when the world suggests you should become someone else. Even when you feel you're not good enough, she said, especially then, you keep going. The room listened in absolute silence, the kind that signals something meaningful is landing exactly where it should. She urged students to protect their individuality fiercely, to treat difference not as a flaw to correct but as a strength to refine. Honesty, she said, is the one thing audiences, employers, and communities can always feel, even if they can't articulate it. If you're finding value in these reflections, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that strip back the headlines and reveal the human moments beneath. When Travis Kelce took the floor, the energy shifted, not diminished, but reshaped. His voice carried the calm authority of someone who has been tested repeatedly, physically and mentally. He spoke about sport not as glory, but as discipline. About training sessions that drained every ounce of strength, injuries that threatened careers, and the relentless pressure of performing in a league where every mistake is replayed and dissected. The NFL, he explained, teaches resilience not through victory, but through failure. Sport, Travis said, showed him early on that success is never a solo act. Behind every achievement is a network of teammates, coaches, mentors, and believers who carry you when your own belief falters. That lesson, he noted, stretches far beyond the field. Whether in business, science, arts, or relationships, no one truly thrives alone. The students studying sports science, management, and business leaned in, recognizing their own futures mirrored in his words. He also spoke candidly about balance, a concept he admitted he once underestimated. Achievement without grounding, he explained, is fragile. He credited personal growth, and yes, his relationship with Taylor, for helping him understand the importance of presence, of listening, of building a life that doesn't collapse the moment the applause fades. His honesty drew nods across the room, proof that vulnerability, when offered sincerely, commands respect. Together, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce painted a picture that felt quietly revolutionary. Not perfection, but partnership. Throughout the event, they exchanged glances that carried encouragement rather than performance. Gentle smiles appeared not for the cameras, but for each other, creating an atmosphere that felt warm, grounded, and real. The glamour was there, undeniably, but it never overshadowed the substance. Students later shared that what struck them most was not the fame, but the openness about failure. About moments of weakness, missteps, and recalibration. In a world obsessed with curated success, hearing two global figures speak so freely about struggle felt like permission to breathe. Permission to be unfinished. Permission to try again. As the visit drew to a close, the campus seemed to exhale collectively. The banners still fluttered, phones still buzzed, but something deeper lingered. A sense that inspiration does not always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it walks quietly down a hallway, holding someone's hand, reminding you that the journey matters as much as the destination. If this story resonated with you, take a moment to like and share it with someone who might need that reminder today. Subscribe to the channel for more moments where celebrity steps aside and humanity takes center stage. Because long after the applause fades, it's these honest conversations that continue to echo, guiding the next generation forward, one thoughtful step at a time.